What's up again? I'm your old friend B, back in Honda Boy Floyd, and well, if you watched both of my barn find collection videos, you might recognize this beautiful little baby here. So this is a 1957 Crestliner Commander that sat right over here in the bushes for 20 years. And I finally dug it out, and I'm going to start working on this project soon. So this project is going to be more of a sporadic one. It's probably going to be, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, several videos long and whatnot. It has, it's all aluminum, and it is just oxidized as hell on the top. It needs to be refinished. Obviously all the paint is trash, and so I'm going to have to refinish this entire boat. But the good thing about it, the cool thing about this boat, is that it was really only used for a season or two back in the late 50s. Then after that, it was put up and never put back out on the water again. Somebody repainted it at some point. All that's going to have to be stripped back off and refinished. But this is a super cool boat, and when it's done, it's just going to be so cool. But what I wanted to talk about today is options for this old gal. I need some input. I want to know what y'all think. So of course the first thing to think about is what to do with all of this. Obviously I have to take all this paint off, but this is not the original paint scheme for this boat. This line swooping down and coming back, that was never original. This panel was, I believe this was a bare aluminum panel, and it was painted down low and it was painted up high. So we could go back with that original type of paint scheme, or we could do our own thing. I was kind of actually thinking about polishing the top of it to a chrome mirror finish, and then doing some sort of paint on the sides, or possibly just polishing the entire boat. That would be kind of cool, but not sure what to do there yet. A lot of work to get to that point, though. Honestly, like, this is just awful. So obviously polishing this entire top would be really cool. It'd be a lot of work, but it wouldn't be that bad. But it would be really cool, but it would also be blinding. Would that be a good idea? I don't know. Be a lot less work to prep it and paint it, perhaps. But I don't know yet. I think that mirror shine and hot rod cool would be fun. Now I have all of the original pieces to this boat. It's really cool. All the wood seats, the wood seat backs, the wood dash, Lexan plexiglass windshield, and steering wheel controls. I got everything in the garage up front to put this back together. It just needs to be refinished. Also, I have many options of motors to put on this boat, all of which are right around this era and before. I think my dad's got a few motors that are back into the 30s, 1930s. So we got a lot of options for this thing. Do we want it to go slow and put around, or do we want it to be a ripper? So let's go talk about our propulsion options, shall we? Alright, so here's what I would consider to be our first and best option for the Crestliner. This is the motor that came on the boat. This is a 1957 Johnson Seahorse 35 horsepower. This is an excellent little motor, and it is in fantastic shape for being 76 years old. That's amazing. No. 66 years old. Still amazing. Now, this motor was gone through about 20 years ago now and fixed up, but it was put into kind of a rough storage in that time, so unfortunately some mice got into it. They ate the plug wires and a couple other little things and made a nest. I've cleaned it all out, and I got to replace a little bit of wiring, and I have no doubt that this motor will run perfectly. So this is option number one. Well, when I said we had a lot of options for motors for that boat, I wasn't kidding. Check out what we got sitting here. When the sunlight's not quite cooperating with me, I decided to move in the sky and put half of this in the dark, like it does. So just bear with me here. But let's see what we got. So first we got these two beauties. This is a 1942 Johnson 2-horse and a 1946 Johnson 5-horse. And they're both in really good shape. The 5-horse has a few dents in it, but otherwise they're in real good shape, and I think we can get them running pretty easy. Next up is this Evinrude. It's a Fleet Twin 7.5 horsepower, and I believe it's a 62, possibly a 57. Not real sure. But if you look at this thing, it is just in fantastic condition. This one really is in fantastic condition, and I really want to get into this one because I don't think this will take much at all to get going. This one here is a 1942 Elgin. Must have been sold through Sears. Really in good shape. I think this one's seen a little more use than most of the other ones we have, but it's still in really decent shape. Alright, down here, the one motor that we don't actually have a stand built for yet. Some of these old stands are kind of rickety and we need to rebuild them anyway. But this is a 1938 Johnson 1.5 horse, and this was actually my great-grandfather's motor. So, I guess we've been into boat motors for a long time. Who knew? Now this one here is an old one. This is the oldest of the collection. This is a 1923 Johnson 2-horse twin. This must have been just cutting edge technology at that point in time. It's really cool if you're into old mechanical stuff like I am. Yeah, it's really neat. This one, of course, needs a lot of work, but it's, 100 years old. Can you believe that? And then there's the Sea King. Now we're not exactly sure what year this one is yet. It's around 1940. Don't know the horsepower either, but Sea King was made by a company called Gale, and they also made the Elgin. And this was sold through Ward's. So Sears and Ward's both having boat motors made by the same company and branding them differently. So that's a pretty cool little piece of history. So far we've seen a pretty wide range of motors in this collection, and any of them would go on the back of my 14-foot aluminum boat just fine. But nothing real exciting yet. I mean, we have the 35-horse Johnson that came with the boat, and that's what the boat's rated for, is 35 horsepower. So that would be a natural fit for it, but it's not going to make anybody's jaw drop, if you know what I'm saying. So we got one more option. So let's take a look at it. And here she is. 1962 Mercury Tower of Power, 70 horse, 6-cylinder. Now we just picked this motor up and it's obviously in need of some work, but could you imagine that on the back of my Crestliner? Sucker. The boat would never touch the water. Just the prop. Well, we got some options, huh? That's quite a bit of a collection of old boat motors. In the end, the Johnson 35 horse is going to go back on the Crestliner. All the other ones are either too little or far too big. Could you imagine putting that Mercury on there? That thing would sink. It'd be cool, but it wouldn't last long. So maybe we'll get a little John boat and get a couple of those other little motors running. But yeah, tell me what you think. It's a pretty cool little collection, huh? You think any of them are worth saving? Worth getting back out on the lake with? I got a lot of projects going right now, though, so I'm just going to work on getting this Johnson ready and getting the Crestliner in a little better shape. So there's nothing left to do but head out and start getting that paint off there. It's going to be fun. So if you like old boats, old motors, old motorcycles, old stuff, yeah, consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. And maybe hit the thumbs up button. So I'm your old friend B. This has been Honda Boy Floyd, and maybe next time I'll be on the water. Considering it's November, though, I highly doubt it. All right, see ya.